Look, if you voted this past week, congratulations. You took part in having a say in what happens in our country. But probably more importantly, you took advantage to vote on things that have an impact on our state. Some controversial amendments on the ballot. I'm not going to talk about those because I'm a real estate guy. So don't expect me to throw my opinion out on those. But what I do want to talk about is the steps that Florida took to limit tax hikes, property tax hikes. Because again, our area seen, up until the last couple of years, massive appreciation. Now we're seeing a little bit more of the depreciation, but the way property taxes work, they're in arrears. They go backwards. So they look at value, they look at home sales from the last prior year. In a lot of those instances, because taxes are in arrears, it's not really assessing what today's value is, it's assessing what the value used to be. So it kind of trails, those assessments trail what value is. However, in times when prices start to drop, people might say, oh, I'm being assessed at $300, but my home's only worth $280. So that's one of the things that you see. So how Florida got around this, they put an amendment out there that was passed, and it was Amendment 5. And I want to talk about what this means because I had people reaching out to me and sending me their ballots and saying like, Andrew, what is this? I don't understand what this means. So I want to explain what passed so that people understand how property taxes are going to be possibly reduced in inflation times. In Florida, homes are assessed for tax purposes at, an assessed value, which is the market value from a year back minus homestead tax exemptions, okay? Most owner-occupied primary residences qualify for two $25,000 tax exemptions, totaling a $50,000 that is exempt from property taxes. However, the second $25,000 isn't exempt from school taxes, but we could do a whole show about that. Amendment 5 allows one of those $25,000 exemptions to increase annually in pace with inflation. The adjustment would be made on January 1st each year and would be based on the prior year's percentage change in the Labor Department's Consumer Price Index as long as the change was positive. So the homestead exemption applies uniformly to Florida homeowners and remains the same after moving from one home to another, preventing distortions in the market that arise when homeowners refuse to move to cling to a tax benefit. That is our portability. So we have portability. We've always had that, but this new thing is basically that second exemption can actually rise. So kind of interesting, and certainly one thing that our state can do to kind of help, homeowners that have been massively hit with inflation, that I think most listeners of this radio station post-election are now hopeful, myself included, that the new administration will take charge and make moves to tamper and reduce inflation. I'm hopeful that happens. And I think then this may not be as much of a point. It sure would have helped the last several years. We don't know how much it will help moving forward. I certainly think we're going to continue to see inflation. The hope is that Washington will get it under control with the new administration, some changes. But Florida did make moves to limit property tax hikes because our state, while has always been attractive to people from other parts of the country because of its affordability, it's lost some of that. Our property values have risen, which means our taxes have risen, and our insurance massively. Anything that the state can do to make things a little bit more affordable, especially when it has gotten, massive increases in property tax revenues at the county levels. The hope is that these slight moves can certainly help people that are financially struggling, maybe give them a little bit of relief.